Hey guys, and welcome to Isekai Zen. Now, I know what you're thinking. This man's uploaded again today, and for all those subscribers, which I don't think they're even up to about five. Um, yeah, I uploaded again today, and today I'm going to bring to you another discussion. It's one I've been thinking about for a while, and actually I haven't seen it really talked about much. Maybe because it might either be too difficult of an actual fight to draw on, or too easy a fight to draw on. Now, this one is a bit controversial, and we don't really have enough information on who would actually win this fight if it ever came down. But this would be Dagon versus Geto. Now, not Geto, Team Geto like the previous video I did. This one is adult Geto. Geto that, tried to take Rika from um, Utah. Geto that tried to. So anyway, what was I? I had a something to talk about. We'll never mind about that. So anyway, Dagon versus adult Geto. And now I know what you're saying. Well, Dagon has domain expansion, right? Well, yes, but we have to also remember Geto has cursed spirits that can also use, guess what? Domain expansions. And Dagon, at his strongest, was granted very powerful, was able to take on two grade 1 sorcerers, right? Nanami and Naobito, the trash Zenin leader, and a grade 2 sorcerer, a very powerful grade 2 sorcerer nonetheless, Maki, or semi grade 1 sorcerer, technically speaking. Um, yeah, he was taking them down and destroying them in his domain expansion, and not up until Megumi showed up and saved their and tried to save their butts, and he was really giving it to them, and only died after facing off against Toji Fushiguro, who in literal we don't even talk about Toji. Toji's a different beast all in general. But anyway, now how would this fight play down? Who do I personally think would win? That's my first thing. I personally think the person who wins is surprisingly. I do not know. I do not know. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win between the other. We've seen both of them in action. We've seen both of them in their quote unquote strongest, but we've never seen both of them actually fight each other before, so we can't really make the assumption. That's why this video is being made. So what I can tell you is, I will think about how I feel it will go down, and I personally believe between the two people who would fight each other, I feel the person who'd win in that fight would be. It has to be a solid Geto. I'm sorry again. You know, they've both. I mean, Geto's got cursed spirits. Dagon's got freaking Shikigami, fish, and other like fish, and you know, and in his domain, you could say, well, Geto would be lost in his domain, but as I said before, he's got creatures that can use domain expansion. Very likely, he also has vengeful spirits and special great curses who might be on par with Dagon. Now, I'm not saying that they are. I'm saying they might be. I'm not sure because we've never seen him use many special great spirits, or we don't even know how many he has in his arsenal. But the number he has in his arsenal definitely will affect the outcome of this match, which is why I'm saying Geto wins. And I know what you're saying. Well, it should be obvious, right? But as me personally, I'm not sure. Um, I'm not sure. This is just me talking to you guys about the matter and wondering if that's even a possibility, even though I'm not 100% sure it is a possibility, if that makes sense. So, anyway, what are we talking about now? So, Dagon, as I said before, domain expansion shows up. Or, no, not domain expansion. Before the domain expansion, if they start fighting, right? Dagon most likely, um, on his own, without his domain expansion, was not able to take on Nanami and Naobito and Maki fighting him at the same time because they were too fast. And he wasn't able to keep up. And he was getting his ass kicked at. Even when he entered his second form, um, he still was getting his ass beat. So technically speaking, there was no real way for him to truly make ends meet in this fight. He was absolutely getting clobbered. And but then so through that we can easily defer or defer no, not defer. What am I saying? Determine that if he were to come up against Geto, Geto most likely. as a special grade sorcerer, and at the time, maybe third to Gojo because we have Yuta. So third strongest, arguably third strongest sorcerer with thousands of curse spirits at his back pocket. Hand to hand combat alone and his playful cloud usage, I feel, would definitely give Dagon a run for his money. I think Dagon is definitely the weakest of the Zasuk's curses, which I think is a big factor in him being able to not do well. Uh, but then we remember that wait, he's got a domain expansion, and now things get a bit more interesting. Not too interesting, but a bit more interesting. So yeah, I don't know if Geto has any special simple domains that he can just throw out, or if he even do they even know how to use a domain amplification? I don't think they do. It was Kenjaku that knew how to do it and taught them to Jogo and Mahito and the rest of the Disaster Curse squad. So technically speaking, who wins in this fight in that domain expansion? Now, assuming we're taking the best possible outcome for Dagon, which is probably him winning, uh, ever so slightly, however. That meaning that we are going to assume that the Cursed Spirits domain expansions, the ones that he has that can use domain expansions, the Cursed Spirits that he has that can use domain expansions, are null and void in this fight, and only the ones that have cursed techniques and can use cursed energy, meaning grade 1 and below. No special grade curses. So in that regard, the dude's got 4,000, right? I mean, we even talk about the maximum Uzumaki, which is a final attack, but let's not bring maximum Uzumaki into this. We're not using it. We're not using the curses to create a bomb. We're using them to create to fight one person, which that being Dagon. And I feel in that essence, in that retrospect, it's very likely that Dagon fighting them one like fighting that mass of grade 1 spirits, curse spirits. It might not be too difficult. Grade 1 to grade 4, he might not lose, especially if he's got Shikigami fish on his side that can really counter Geto's huge army of cursed spirits. But then that's if Geto doesn't throw out a couple of special grade curses. That's assuming he doesn't, because we know for a fact he most likely will, right? Because he's taking on special grade curse. So in other words, him throwing out a special grade curse, or two, or three, could really, 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 really be useful against this Dagon person, right? That he's facing off against. And Dagon will have to fight a lot harder, even with his sure hit effect in that domain. If the person in that domain decides to, if the person in that domain decides to, he can cast Shikigami and stuff like that. Dagon can do that. But Geto also has special grade curses who might be relative in power to him, and he has tons of them. He has at least, we know he has at least two. He might even have more, and you could grant, and most likely those were his best ones since he was facing off against Toji. However, it could also mean he didn't really want to face off against Toji because he doesn't sure who he didn't want to bring out his best because he wasn't sure who Toji was or how strong he was. However, knowing that he actually defeated Gojo might be a reason what for him to bring out his best spirit curse spirits. So his two best, most powerful curse spirits are spirits that he has finally tamed and conquered, and he's using in this combat against Dagon. If I don't know how domain expansions work, I don't know which one is more powerful between a sure hit domain or a normal rule based domain. I'm not sure which one is the stronger of the two, but I am sure that if he were to pull out 10 special grade curses and use the playful cloud in conjunction, which he can. He's extremely intelligent, very 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 tactical fighter, and very very strategic individual. I have no reason to believe that he wouldn't win in the fight. That Dagon winning is basically if Geto pulls out only spirits, it's grade 1 down to grade 4 spirits, and Dagon losing 10 times out of 10 is when he decides to throw out all the stuff. He's willing to push out every single thing in his bag, that being from special grade 1 to grade 4 curses altogether, and just decides to throw all 4,000 of them into this domain expansion and absolutely decimate Dagon. I mean, really. Dagon is powerful, and his Shikigami might do a number on many of the cursed spirits, but there are some cursed spirits that might not be able, that might not, the Shinigami might not be able to actually, kick or beat or bite or even use the sure hit effect on, because they're just so overwhelmingly powerful. Like what we saw with Jogo versus Gojo. I was about to say Jogo versus Jogo. They are both powerhouses, Dagon and Geto. But I feel Geto is just a way stronger person to come up against. And granted, Geto is a very, very. I mean, I said Geto. Dagon is a very, very powerful person, and I definitely think and I definitely think he could cause some damage to Geto. But with what Geto has shown and what Geto has been able to do with this cursed technique and what he's been able to achieve with it, he's definitely causing problems, and that's just it for me. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Um, like the video. I hope you guys even watched this video. I mean, the last video didn't do too well. It was about what, 2 views, and I think those 2 views were my views. So yeah, watch it, enjoy it, and if you got any suggestions for another versus JJK versus battle, I'm willing to hear it.